In this video, I'm going to analyze the milestones in filmmaking and screenwriting in Fred Zinnemann's High Noon, a classic western from 1952 that runs almost in real time, focusing on the use of clocks as a helper in the development of the plot. This movie was nominated by the Academy for Best Picture, Director, and Screenplay, and won with Best Original Song, Score, Editing, and Gary Cooper won as actor in a leading role.
In the absence of the winner, John Wayne will accept the award for Gary Cooper.
He played Marshal Will Kane, who just after marrying his fiancée Amy Fowler, played by Grace Kelly, is told that a man he sent to prison years before, Frank Miller, is coming in the noon train to his town in order to get revenge. The spectator gets to follow a certain set of decisions that consequently led to the Marshal looking for people to help him face Miller's group of bandits. He finds but one ally, who then will step down, leaving him alone, with his wife mad at him coming back to town, facing a group of people that threaten his life. The screenplay was written by Carl Foreman, adapted from The Teen Star, a magazine story written by John W. Cunningham. This movie is a perfect example to understand the role of time in a screenplay, making it a must-see for wannabe screenwriters. The clocks found all around the town are there for a reason, serving as an aid in the tension as Marshal Kane waits for Miller. The only reason because the movie is not exactly in real time is because filmmaking involves editing, which means cutting and adding scenes to enhance the entertainment of the viewer and to transmit the message properly. Now that we are at it, the editing in this movie is fantastic, especially the transitions, because Elmo Williams, the editor, did a great job in doing scene transitions very smoothly and in very original ways, though without the spectator actually noticing it. That's what an editor should strive to do, unless he or she is working with Edgar Wright or Guy Ritchie, which in that case will require another focus to the edits. Anyways, this subtlety is what got him nominated and finally gave him the win in the 25th Academy Awards.
The winners are Elmo Williams and Harry Gerstead for High Noon.
Now, other factors to consider in this movie being a good one are the cinematography and the score, which I learned that is something that classic movies relied on a lot. Not to mention the acting and the screenplay itself. Floyd Crosby ran the photography department in this one, and gave us a plethora of shots that remain classic to this day. Dmitry Tiomkin, on the other hand, directed the movie score, which elevates the suspense each minute that passes on, but tells us to relax and take our time at some point. The protagonists all give their best in this movie, including the extras. Even when the filmmaking in this movie is sensational, what I find most intriguing, though, is the story and how it is developed, which is why I decided to talk about this film, because I myself have an interest in screenwriting. Each and every character has a role to play in this film, though the story revolves around the Marshal and his search for brave people. But in the end, the town is full of cowards, and after doing his duty, the man disappointed throws his badge to the floor, leaving a town that owed him a lot and gave him nothing. Since the beginning, the viewer already knows what's happening and what's to come, and through the development of the film, some background information is presented, like introducing the previous sheriff or Kane's stand on the church. Now, I'm going to be analyzing certain scenes in which I found interesting facts that enhance the experience of viewing this film and help us understand a little more about what's happening. At the beginning of the movie, Gary Cooper tells us by his acting that Marshal Kane is unsure of marrying his wife, because that meant leaving his job as a marshal, and he had a strong sense of duty, as we can see further in the movie, making him reluctant to kiss her. Moments after, the man that works at the train station comes with a breaking news, interrupting the wedding. In that very scene, a poster which would appear multiple times in the future states that war is declared, a World War II propaganda which could represent the war between Frank Miller and Will Kane, appears at the back of the scene. The recently wed couple is urged to leave the town, but Kane's mind was elsewhere, and decided to go back. The music becomes fast-paced when he returns, making it obvious that the intensity of his life would elevate noticeably. In a later scene, two men in a barber shop foreshadow the outcome of the war, letting us know that the residents of the town are well aware of the danger that comes with those bandits, as seen in earlier scenes during their arrival. As the movie progresses, the clocks are always ticking, almost making them a supporting character themselves. During his search, Marshall Kane is accompanied by the music, creating his very own leitmotif, the song High Noon, Do Not Forsake, Oh My Darling, which remains with him while he is alone or rejected. At the church scene, we also learn two details of the main couple that may seem unimportant, but that play a key role in the film. Amy Fowler is a Quaker, and we can conclude that the church of the town is Catholic, and in essence, the Marshal is not a man of God, hence they didn't marry in holy grounds. If they had married in the church though, perhaps the people attending would have taken a different approach, as well as the parson, or the series of events would change slightly, though this is not the importance of their beliefs. Regardless of what could happen if they had married in the church, Amy's faith makes her avoid violence and confrontation, just like the parson and the churchgoers. On the other hand, Will's lack of faith makes him come back to town because his sense of duty is greater than his other personal beliefs, adding to his need of violence to end more violence.
Parson, you got anything to say?
The parson makes a point in reference to the violence religious people tend to reject.
I don't know. The commandments say, "Thou shalt not kill," but we hire men to go out and do it for us.
The commandments do not specify if you can or cannot hire someone to kill, though it is implied that it is not a good thing in the eyes of God, though their work is necessary to maintain the security in town.
The right and the wrong seem pretty clear here. But if you're asking me to tell my people to go out and kill, and maybe get themselves killed, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
This hits hard into Will's heart. He knows his people are cowards, and will find any excuse not to help him, as he confirms when looking for Sam Fuller at his home.
Do you know where he is, Mrs. Fuller? It's important to me that I find him.
I think he's in church, Will. He's gone to church.
Without you?
I'm going to go in a little while, as soon as I dress.
Another mighty expression of wisdom is shown by former Marshal Martin Howe, who signals the injustice in the everyday job of marshals and sheriffs and cops even nowadays.
You risk your skin catching killers, and the juries turn them loose so they can come back and shoot at you again. If you're honest, you're poor your whole life. And in the end, you wind up dying all alone on some dirty street. For what? For nothing. For a tin star.
And actually, Martin's right. Each officer risks his or her life every day just for someone who may or may not be sentenced to prison, and must therefore be afraid of them ever coming to attack the ones that tried to lock them down in the first place. Shortly after Harvey Pell's fight with his former boss, Kane goes to the barber shop to get his face fixed, while a poster is behind him offering affordable funerals and undertaking services. Back into the marshal's office, after his most recent deputy resigned, there's the war poster again, making us think, when there's a war out there and their efforts will turn into false praises, people volunteer. But when a war is right in their home and their only outcome will be their own security, people expect the authorities to show up and do their work, and they won't volunteer to make their home a better place. Marshal Kane finally deals with the gang and, with the unexpected help of his wife, ends each and every one of them, and resigns, for his town of cowards does not deserve a man like him, and all he did was for honor and duty, no more. This film is a masterclass in cinema. It teaches us the basics of the common camera movements and transitions, the use of music, the character development, and the wondrous performances good actors and directors can offer. High Noon is a classic among the best westerns ever made, and one that filmmakers and writers alike should watch and analyze to their best need. If you have any suggestions about movies I can talk about next, feel free to add them in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video.